Hi, most wireless mics these days are pretty good. They allow you a lot of freedom to move around while you're filming. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate different ways that they can be used to allow you to hear just how consistent they can be. There's no doubt that wireless mics are really useful because you can wander around, there are no wires, and it allows you a lot of freedom basically. If I had a shotgun mic on the camera there, it would be picking up a hell of a lot of reverb in this room because this is a really bad room and I'm now standing right in front of a window. So a shotgun looking this way at me is going to be picking up the reflections from that window as well as my voice, as well as the ceiling and the walls, whereas this one is closer to me and to some extent my body's cutting off hopefully a bit of that window reverberation. Now there's one issue that you need to watch out for when using lavaliers and wireless systems indoors though, is the fact that indoors this is a very quiet environment. So in between sentences, if there's going to be silence or anything like that going on, if you've got a noisy lavalier, you're going to hear it and then you're going to have to get into noise reduction, which isn't a great idea. So for me, what I use is an EM172, which has a self noise of -80 dB, which is very, very good for a lavalier microphone. And so when I'm indoors, I sacrifice the size. This one is quite a large microphone. I sacrifice the size if I want to get slightly better quality, because this is one that is actually very quiet and can easily be used indoors. Omnidirectional lavaliers sound a lot better than cardioid lavaliers when you wear them. So they're fine basically indoors. Although they're omni, they're close to you, so they don't pick up too much of that reverberation, and hopefully you get yourself a nice quiet lavalier. When you're outside, you don't have to bother so much about that. You don't have to worry because the surrounding noise is quite high. So you could opt for something smaller and doesn't show so much on shot, which might look a bit better. So now we're going to try going outside, although at the moment it is actually very windy out there, so I think the shots I'm going to take out there are going to be really difficult. So please forgive any wind noise I get, because I think there's going to be a bit out there. It's been sort of blowing gusts every now and then and I can't predict when it's going to go or not go. But to get the video done, I'm going to get out there and do it now. So let's try a few shots outside. One thing about using a wireless system with a lavalier mic is the fact that you don't have to worry so much about self-noise. So for me, the choice of microphone is far greater because I've got quite a few lavalier mics that I use, and this one is the JK044. This one is an Omni, but the reason I'm using it at the moment is I'm wearing a black shirt, and the JK044 is tiny, it's small, so it doesn't show so much on shot. So that's really, really useful. And because the microphone is so close to me, it's hopefully going to reject a lot of the outside sounds, like the traffic noises in the backgrounds and a lot of bird tweeting going on here. So sometimes the choice of mic can depend on what size of microphone you want to use. For instance, indoors I would use the EM172, basically because it's got such a low noise floor, and indoors you would notice that, but out here that's not anything like such a problem. So okay, a small lavalier is going to show much less when you're on shot, but also the other beauty of a wireless system is what I'm doing now is I'm talking in a pretty low voice, but the microphone is picking me up beautifully, hopefully, and it's going into the camera nice and cleanly. Now the only thing is, okay, yes, it is very clean, but sometimes on some shots you might want more of an atmosphere, and to be honest, when you're the further away you get from the camera, the atmosphere kind of goes because your voice almost sounds too close for what you're seeing. So you're seeing me as quite small at the moment, and the voice is remaining consistent. In actual fact, I can go wherever I like and the voice is going to stay the same. Now I'm quite a distance away now, and as you can hear, the voice has stayed the same. Now the sound of that voice might not match what you're actually seeing on screen. So that's one thing you need to be careful with lavaliers, really, if you want to get a sense of atmosphere. Now as I get closer to the camera, the sound again doesn't change, but maybe the picture and sound match more closely as you get closer, because basically the volume of my voice is coming from here, and it's very clear and hopefully clean, but now it matches because I'm actually close to the camera as well. But further away maybe my voice was unnaturally loud and clear, and maybe sometimes you might want to use a shotgun just to pick up a little bit more of the surrounding sounds. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to just change the microphone. So if you listen now very carefully to the background sound, there's no automatic gain set here, it's all manual, so nothing's going to change, but this is the kind of background sound that I'm getting with this microphone when I'm wearing it. Now I'm going to change it to a cardioid and have a listen to the background. Okay, now I've switched over, oh, there's a lot more noise now actually. I've switched over to a cardioid lavalier, and hopefully the noise levels have actually gone down, although actually the noise levels here have actually gone up. But this is the sound of the background now. Okay, I feel a bit daft just standing there looking at the camera, so anyway, that's the kind, it gives you a kind of idea of how this thing is working with a cardioid. Now the thing about cardioids is, okay, fine, they work fine, just the same as the other one, it's picking me up hopefully nice and clearly. But I'm just going to do something now when I turn round, and I'm going to now change the sound. And what I've done is I've changed the sound, and probably on shot you might not be able to see clearly what I've actually done. As I've said in other videos before, the usefulness of these cardioid lavs is not just that they're cardioid and they can reject a little bit more sound, but when you're further away especially, you can't see them so easily, so it's quite easy to hold them and take them away from your body, and the sound kind of cleans up a bit. And that's the usefulness of these cardioid lavs. The cardioids are not so good for some reason when they're planted on you, which is why so many people don't like to use cardioid lavaliers, but when you take them away from your body, they sound really quite good. Now if I put it back, that affects the sound of it. Now the reason I'm saying this is, there's that horrible noise again in the background. The reason I'm saying this, I've taken it off again, is that these microphones can work fantastically well as a plant microphone. For instance, when we're out on holiday or something, I might well take this with me and I'll clip it to a table, or clip it somewhere away from the body, away from everything else, or just lay it on the table facing what you want to pick up. It rejects the outside sounds, it picks up a really good sound, and actually it's better than using a shotgun on top of the camera. Since most wireless mics these days work at a considerable distance, you are really freed up to wander around wherever you like without the sound really changing very much at all. They're also way less obvious in public, so they're a great thing to have. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers for now.